Okay, we're going to talk about animals. What do you do if you work at the zoo? By Steve Jenkins and Robin Page. You might huddle a joey. Do you see this right here? It says a mother kangaroo keeps her baby called a joey safe in a pouch in her belly. This joey doesn't have a mother, so for the next 6 months, you'll carry it in your own pouch made of cloth. Isn't that interesting? You might impersonate a vulture. This king vulture chick is being raised in a zoo, but when it is old enough, it will be released into the wild. To keep it from becoming attached to a human, you should feed it with a hand puppet that looks like an adult vulture. Do you see? It does look like a real vulture, but it's a hand puppet. You might count a colony. Do you see? What animals are these? That's right, they're penguins. It's important to keep track of all the animals in a zoo. Making a regular count of these Humboldt penguins will ensure that none of them is missing or sick. You might rub an aardvark's ears. Look at that. At home in Africa, aardvarks are nighttime creatures, but in a zoo, they are often active during the day. You'll need to slather sunscreen onto the aardvark's sensitive ears to keep them from getting sunburned. That's why he's rubbing his ears. We don't want to get sunburned. You might shine a tortoise shell. Look at that. Polishing this Galapagos tortoise's shell keeps it from drying out and cracking. And the tortoise seems to enjoy the attention. You might give an elephant a pedicure. You see this big elephant foot? An elephant living in the zoo doesn't walk miles every day like its wild cousins, so its toenails don't get worn down. This elephant is trained to hold up its feet one at a time so you can file down its toenails. That's what he's doing there. There's his file, and he's filing the toenails down so the elephant's feet are comfortable. You might brush a hippo's teeth. Look at that. A wild hippopotamus feeds on grass and water plants that don't get stuck in its teeth. But the fruits and vegetables it eats in the zoo can get trapped and give the hippo cavities. So you'll need to give its huge tusks a regular brushing. Do you brush your teeth so you don't get cavities? That's a good idea. You might puzzle a meerkat. Look at this meerkat. Why hide a meerkat snack? It's not always easy for a wild animal to find food. When you give this meerkat a puzzle, it must figure out which tube has a treat inside. You'll be encouraging its natural behavior. See, he's looking in there for food. You might then warm it up. Oh, looks like he's shining a special warming light at the meerkat. Let's find out about that. In Africa, meerkats like to bask in the sun. When it's cold outside, you can help them stay toasty by turning on an infrared heat lamp. See, he's getting nice and toasty. Do you know who this animal reminds me of? Can you think of a meerkat in a Disney cartoon called Timon from The Lion King? You might serenade a seal. Oh, look at the seal. And that man is playing a horn. Why would we need to do that? If you're a musician, try playing a tune for a seal. The music seems to calm it down. I didn't know that. You might tickle a tapir. Look at, they're tickling the tapir with that rake. I wonder why. A wild tapir rubs its body against a tree to remove ticks and other parasites. In the zoo, it doesn't have to worry about parasites, but the tapir still likes a good rub, and it seems to enjoy a gentle scratching from a rake. Do you like when your mom scratches your back? You might play a ball with a bear. Look at that. What kind of bear is that? Is that a polar bear? Playtime is an important part of the day for many animals. It keeps them entertained and it's good exercise. Try tossing a ball to this polar bear. She'll love it, but you might not get your ball back right away. Have you seen polar bears playing with balls at the zoo? You might pass the ball to a rhino. Look at that. That's a different kind of a ball, isn't it? There's a soccer ball. How about playing soccer with a rhinoceros? Make the pass and then get out of the way fast. Oh, do you think that rhino is going to kick that ball? I think he is. You might train a dragon. Wow, what kind of dragon is that? How do you get a dangerous giant lizard to climb into its cage so a vet can give it a checkup? Train it to pursue a red ball on a stick to get a reward. When the Komodo dragon follows the ball into its cage, give it a dead rat. What a treat. Komodo dragons eat rats. Whoops. There we go. You might pick up panda poop. Do you see the panda? He's eating. There's his poop. Pandas eat almost nothing but bamboo, and they eat a lot of it, which means they make a lot of poop. So get your shovel. It's a dirty job, but somebody has to do it. And not just for the pandas. Zookeepers clean up after all the animals in the zoo. Do you think you would like to clean up panda poop? Don't make this at home. When it's hot, kids aren't the only ones that like popsicles. Zoo animals get fruit sickles, fish sickles, and meat sickles. You can make a hyena happy with a blood sickle. Blech. Hyenas like to eat blood, animal blood. So they freeze it when it's hot. That's kind of gross. You might bottle feed a giraffe. Look at that. Would you like to bottle feed a giraffe? This little giraffe's mother is sick and can't nurse her baby, so you'll need to give the calf a bottle of milk every few hours. It might just decide you're its mother. Do you see the bottle right there? Or you can bottle feed a manatee. Look at that. A hurricane separated this baby manatee from its mother. Manatees are mammals, and their young drink milk. You'll be feeding it by hand for the next year or so. Wow, that's a long time, isn't it? That's like people babies sometimes have bottles for a whole year. Or you can size up a guitar fish. Have you ever heard of a guitar fish? Look at, he's measuring that guitar fish. Wow. If you know how to scuba dive, you can measure this guitar fish, a close relative of the shark. Keeping track of an animal's size lets you know if it's healthy and growing properly. That's so big. Oh, here's something else. What are they holding? Can you tell what that is? You can pick up a python. A python is a kind of a snake. Keeping track of an animal's weight is one way to make sure it's getting enough food. But to weigh a 350-pound snake, you'll have to recruit some friends. You also might entice an elephant seal. Look how big it is. What do you think he's putting in his mouth? Looks like a fish. How do you weigh an elephant seal? This enormous animal is happy to flop onto a scale as long as you reward it with lots of yummy raw fish. Kind of looks like Jabba the Hutt. You might introduce a friend. Oh, look. Cheetah cubs usually have several brothers and sisters, but this cheetah was born alone and it seems to be lonely. Try introducing a new playmate, a golden retriever puppy. Do you think that they'll have fun playing? And that is the end. Do you think it would be fun to work in a zoo doing all those things?